Today, I want to talk about attitude and motivation and its role in playing to your potential. And a lot of this, it's not just golf specific, it's more of, life skills. But in 40 plus years of playing golf, it's so important. And the better you get, the more important it is, right? But your self-esteem, when you look in the mirror, what you see and what you tell yourself, and that mind chatter is really critical to performing and not allowing these bad outcomes to, the thing you want to avoid is tying your self-worth to your golf score. That's really where people end up taking it that far down the rabbit hole. So there's a lot of things we can do, especially for the golfer who's new to the game or shooting high scores. There's a lot of things we can do that aren't related to the golf swing and hitting golf balls. And building self-esteem is one of them. Taking a hard look in the mirror and being honest with yourself, because you can have all the self-esteem in the world in your job or as a CEO of a company or a doctor or whatever, but on the inside, when you get on that first tee, you're nervous, you're scared, you're not going to perform your best, and that self-talk, that lack of that beating yourself up or not having positive self-esteem is really going to show up on the golf course. So it's all about your attitude. And this isn't just about golf. You have to take a positive attitude out there every day, and regardless of the outcome. So first of all, what is self-esteem? How do we define self-esteem? And self-esteem is the person you see when you look in the mirror. Is it that self-talk? Is it a positive thing? Is it a negative thing? Self-esteem, essentially, at the end of the day, is the value that we put on ourselves, the self-worth. High self-esteem people are risk takers. They achieve great things. They're organized. It's a self-belief, it's just a self-belief. It's not about not caring and what other people think. And when you're prepared and you've done the work, the self-esteem is sort of a byproduct. It kind of grows on its own because you're ready. You've done the work and you're ready to go out and see what the test of golf brings today. Characteristics of low self-esteem are disorganized, being discontent, unable to finish when you start something, not following through. Probably one of the biggest red flags with self-esteem is being overly sensitive to criticism, which is going to be nonstop in golf. The other characteristic that's consistent with people with low self-esteem is that many of us have been conditioned for failure. And it's not just, it's lifetimes, it's generations. We've just been told we're a failure. You have to break that conditioning for failure and start to believe that you're worthy of improvement and that you're worthy of high self-esteem. That's really the biggest thing. So let's talk about how to build self-esteem. We first need to even believe that our skills are valuable enough to improve, and that we feel that we're worthy of actually setting goals, realistic goals, smart goals that are achievable, and that it starts with that. You have to believe that you're worthy of getting better. That's really important. Having a positive attitude and bringing a positive attitude to the golf course every day is really critical to getting the most out of where you are with your golf swing at any given time. And it starts with a game plan and having smart goals, which we'll talk about in a different video. And also is knowing yourself and knowing what your strengths and weaknesses are and then catering to them. It's like you don't sit there and beat balls with a club that you can't hit and continue to condition that bad response. It's sort of like, this is why when we putt, if you're going to putt to a hole, we make it to a distance that's reasonable, maybe within 7 feet that you realistically have a chance of making. When you putt from 30 feet and you miss every one, and you wonder you start the self-belief, the self-talk, the self-doubt creeps in, and then when you're looking over the putt on the course, your thought is, I'm not going to make this putt because you just missed 30 of them, right? So you have to believe, there's a self-belief at the end of the day, and you have to fake it till you make it initially for a lot of us. But really knowing yourself, knowing your golf swing and your strengths and weaknesses is critical to building self-esteem. People do two things. They do things to gain pleasure or to avoid pain, and the avoiding pain is the more powerful of the two. So people are always going to do what they can to avoid pain. And if you take that to the golf course, it might mean not hitting driver because you're struggling with your driver and you're smart and you hit your 3-wood until you can get it straightened out. And I think that maybe the last component to building self-esteem, and this is where you really have to find something bigger than yourself, find more meaning in life than just yourself. You're looking for something that's greater than yourself. You're not just here to stroke your own ego. You're here to be a positive influence on those that you come around on the golf course and show that through adversity you can maintain your positive attitude and not be rolling up and down a roller coaster with the outcomes of various shots and acting out on the golf course and behaving immaturely and, just doing things that are not going to contribute to a better score. So in closing, it's all about your attitude. And this isn't just about golf. You have to take a positive attitude out there every day, and regardless of the outcome. And we'll get into that. We'll talk about that down the road in some more advanced videos. But when you're prepared and you've done the work and you have your process and you have your pre-shot routine and you stick to it, that's really what we're measuring our performance on. It's not outcome based. If I stick to my routine and have a bad outcome, that's the roll of the dice, and that's okay. I'll live with it. I'll move on and I'll go back to my process. It's more the opposite. When you don't do your routine, you're not present. There's a lot of self-doubt, a lot of self-negativity, and then there's a bad shot. Well, that's on you, and you really want to get back to controlling what you can control. So that's it for the self-esteem talk, and I would love to hear what each and every one of you have to say about it, your experiences with it. And please don't forget to like or subscribe, and certainly feel free to leave a comment.